Back to Business Today. Thank you for staying with us. Now, we are on to another issue. We're speaking about unlocking county economic potential. And joining us is Daniel Kingori Ngumi, who is the County Chief Officer for Finance and Treasury in Laikipia County. Thank you for joining us on Business Today.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's get right into the conversation. Industrialization in Kenya, outside of the major industrial centers that has never really taken off when you look at it. Hence, focus on really industrialization. When you look at Laikipia County, what is the situation?
Let me start by saying that industrialization is very critical in any nation. No nation has moved from low income to high income without the path of industrialization. So that if you look at the small countries that have made it through, it's because they have a country like Monaco, which has a financial system, they have financial services, and Botswana, which has diamonds, and of course we will have the oil-rich countries, which now have been able to exploit their natural resources. It is very critical that as a country, we are able to industrialize. And as you have said, we have never really moved from that low profile kind of industrialization. And if you look at it, it is what has been happening is that slowly by slowly we have been converting from manufacturing to services. Now, as a country, being that we need to industrialize, then we need to look at what our advantages, what our strong points. So if you look at all the counties, the 47 counties, each of and every of those counties has its very strong points or areas of strength. So for Laikipia, we have a lot of land. We have very good arable land, which can be very instrumental in the process of industrialization. So what has the county done? Our county has really invested in focusing in creating the infrastructure, which is the number one enabler to industrialization or to manufacturing. Because what you see in a kind of industrialization or manufacturing, it is partially fragmented. In short, you have a business, a factory here, a factory there, a factory there, so that there's no clustering. So what we are doing is to create an area of clustering of industrial infrastructure. And we are doing that in a place called Rumuruti. You have heard it. We have the Kai project, which has the supportive infrastructure around it to enable us as a county move forward in terms of industrialization.
All right.
Yes.
Very well said. So when you look at land,
yes,
you've said the land is big. When you look at this project of industrial parks,
yes,
in terms of expansion,
yes,
where have you reached as a county?
Okay. As a county, what I would state is that we are in the process. We have already done what you call spatial planning and zoning. That is where you say, this is where we want this done. So we want our industrial, this to be our industrial area, so that we build the infrastructure around it. Now you have the roads, you have the other supportive infrastructure, the warehouses and the like. So that is what we as a county are doing to ensure that we are able to work with the private sector to ensure that now that infrastructure is made productive. Yes.
All right. And now, in making it productive, what do you usually focus on in terms of making this project now to be a success? Okay. What goes into it?
When we talk about industrialization, we are basically talking about two main elements. There's the manufacturing itself, which is the processing, like moving this raw material, converting it to a finished product, including the packaging. But when you talk about industrialization, you are being a bit broader to capture even the services that now enable that manufacturing to happen. So what am I saying? I'm saying if you have Kenya is primarily an agricultural country. The same with Laikipia. You have first to aggregate. Agro-processing is a critical manufacturing bit for us. So you have to aggregate it. Where do you aggregate it? So that now you say you have aggregated, you have processed, now then you have finished and sold. Yes.
Right. And now speaking about agriculture.
Yes.
What is the opportunity for value addition? Because I understand the county is rich, major in livestock potential and also other agricultural focuses, as you've mentioned. So when it comes to value addition, what do you really look at?
What we are talking about when we talk about value addition is one of the biggest challenges that in agriculture, a product, you just use a small product and the rest is either dumped or sold at a very little value. We want to focus on what you call export-oriented growth. And export-oriented growth then requires that you do several things, yes, to ensure that the product you have can be exported. Take for instance, if you are having meat, because basically we are having animals and we are having livestock, you're having cows. One, you have to ensure that they're in quarantine-free zones. The zones that those animals are being raised, they are quarantine-free. And then they have to go for feed rotting. They have to be fattened. Then they have to be either sold as live, which we are moving away from, to having it processed to meat and its components. So that if it's daily, you are saying, okay, I'm processing the milk, you have all the products for milk, they are processed, and they are exported to other countries. So one of the areas as a country then we are looking at is how do we capture the African market? Because this is the biggest coming market, and we are still not moved from Africa, so that even as we go to the other Western countries. So how are we packaging our products to be sold even in other African countries? And for you to do that, then you have to have processed them to a considerable extent. If it is beef, you have the beef, you have the hides and skins, you have all that. Yes, instead of taking out raw materials. Yes.
All right. And now, even as you speak about the raw materials and even exporting them, let us look at investments in industries in the counties. How do we invest within different counties, even in Kenya, for us to develop even more? And as Laikipia County, what are you looking at in terms of investments?
One of the critical areas that you look at in any kind of industrialization process is the availability of capital. And that's what you are calling as investment. How are we able to attract both domestic and foreign capital to our country to assist us industrialize? Now, if you look at a country like China, it had 5 special economic zones in the early 80s. In the 90s, we had around 500 special economic zones in the whole world. Right now, we have around 5,500 special economic zones. So what we are saying is that if we have a special economic zone authority, we have a special economic zone legislation, so then now we are attracting that in Laikipia. If you have a special economic zone, then investors are able to feel comfortable putting their money in industries, because one, special economic zones will protect the investors from one, maybe change in government policy, for example, in taxation. It will also protect investors from maybe unpredictable unions and the like. And so special economic zones are the way to go. And we are working very hard to ensure that we can get the same for Laikipia. Yes.
All right.
And probably each county should have a special economic zone. If we are to say we are very much focused on industrialization. Yes.
All right. Even as we come to a close, when we look at technology
Yes.
and the opportunities that it has brought,
Yes.
how do you use technology to create job opportunities for the youth within Laikipia County? Because I believe your county is one of the counties where technology has really, really taken, like very many people are embracing it.
Yes.
So how do you use this in order for you to create employment?
Let me say this, not only for Laikipia, but in this continent as a whole. Kenya has been ranked similarly with India in terms of adoption of technology. We are early adopters. We have products like M-Pesa, we have fiber optic. So how are we using this technology to really make it for our youth to get employment? That is happening. What we are having, say, in Laikipia is like we have the Ajiri Center, which is really working to register youth and to have the youth get trained on how they can use digital resources to obtain jobs. If I can get back a little, if you look at the way our economy is structured, it has traditionally relied on formal education. You go to university, right now, that cannot continue. We are saying you have to have digital skills, digital marketing, project management, such things that can be done online. And then you can work online. In fact, it's what we are calling exporting of services. Previously, you could not export services. You could export manufactured goods, but you could not export service. You used to say services are not tradable. So that has been disrupted. Right now, the issue of Uber, that is a service. It has already been exported. It's an exported service. We have Airbnb. That is an exported service. So right now, a lot of services are going to be disrupted. They are going to be exported. What is lacking is, do we have the skill set, the innovation, to be able now to export those services, especially the deregulated services. If I can state, for example, in India, they are making up to 150 billion in exported services. Kenya is ranked just slightly below India in terms of services. So it's something that very soon will start being visible. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for giving us your insights.
Yes.
All right. That is Daniel Kingori, who is the County Chief for Finance and Treasury in Laikipia County, speaking to us about industrialization in different counties and how counties can leverage on different aspects of their counties in order for them to improve. All right. Now we're going to go to Noah.